Hello guys, Chris here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 4070 in the good old GTA 5. This one is the Founders Edition model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers as usual, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Ups. GPU-Z, resizable bar is also enabled, and over on the left, we're pairing it with the i5 13600K overclocked to 5.6 GHz, as well as 32 GB of DDR5 6000 MHz RAM. Let's get into it now, shall we? First of all, let's go over the settings. I'm starting at 1080p, but of course we're going to test a lot higher resolutions. MSIA is set to 4 times, and this is a super intensive setting, but we need it, because I'll talk about it in a little bit, okay? And we're using the very high or ultra settings. Actually, the only setting that is not maxed out is Post FX, which introduces motion blur whenever you set it to higher than normal, even if this over here is set to the minimum. So I prefer to turn it off. It also introduces a lot of bloom effects, which I am also not a fan of in GTA 5. And over on the advanced graphics, everything is turned on aside from the extended distance scaling, which is a super intensive setting for the CPU, so we would end up being CPU bound and it wouldn't really be a GPU test if I enabled that setting. Anyways, you can see that the GPU is maxed out, first of all, alright? So the engine limits is actually being reached at the moment. Whenever this game reaches 188 frames per second, it tends to stutter a lot like this. So we're effectively breaking the game here because the GPU is too fast, as well as the CPU, you know? Yeah, this is not gonna happen. So to fix that, we could enable VSync, which will lock the FPS to 120 all of the time, as you can see. Now everything should be buttery smooth without any stuttering issues whatsoever, or you could use some MSIA 8 times, but that is so intensive that it actually underperforms a little bit whenever that setting is enabled. But you know what? Since this is a GPU test and you already know that it will get insanely high FPS with 4 times MSIA, and you also already know that with VSync on it would get capped 120 all of the time, I'm gonna disable VSync, enable 8 times MSIA, and we're gonna play like this, okay? Wow, that's still really good actually. Okay. So I thought it was gonna be a little bit worse than this with 8 times MSIA, but it's still a high refresh rate experience, guys. And now we can run the game with unlocked FPS because we're not gonna reach the engine limits, basically. Oh boy! That's becoming a bit of an issue, you know, with the higher end GPUs of today, especially with the 40 series. We are seeing a ton of these GPUs at 1080p just reaching the limits of GTA 5 and causing a stuttery mess of an experience. But you already know what you gotta do to prevent that, okay? Enable VSync. If your refresh rate is below 165, for example, or 165 Hertz, it will become buttery smooth and it won't stutter anymore. Now, over here, with 8 times MSIA, it drops into the 60s. Look at that. Damn, that is crazy intensive. That's basically because the grass is super ultra intensive on maximum, okay, especially with the advanced settings turned on and MSIA. Hello Jacqueline, how's it going? Let's continue here. I'm curious, will it drop from 60 frames per second though? Because it might very well drop. Over here is usually the most intensive part. No, okay, it didn't drop. At least that, okay? But now I'm curious, if I set this to 4 times instead of 8 times, we shouldn't really reach the engine limits, right? Yeah, it doesn't reach it, so locking the FPS to 120 would be a good idea with 4 times MSIA, because, well, you would have a buttery smooth experience in city areas, and then you get to these forest areas and it would drop slightly from 120. It wouldn't really be noticeable anyways. But yeah, as you can see, GTA 5, even though you can get super extremely high FPS, you get to a forest area and it can be a really intensive title still, especially if you use the grass quality on ultra again, as well as, where is Bob, by the way? The 4 times or 8 times MSIA. Okay, let's take it up to 1440p resolution using 4 times MSAA. Still the same settings down here, of course, as you can see on the advanced as well. And whoa. For some reason, the image is actually more contrasty right now. Maybe it's the time of the day, or maybe it's just the input on my TV that changed for some reason with the resolution bump. But this is insanely good looking, buttery smooth still, with 140 FPS almost on average in city areas. Obviously, it is gonna drop in the bushy areas and vegetation, but I can't deny this is a really awesome experience still at 1440p. And this is probably how I'd play this game, honestly, with the RTX 4070. I recommend it for 1440p monitors, you know, because of the 12 gigabytes of VRAM. At 4K, it's a little bit too little, I think, but at 1440p, it does a great job. The sharpness from 4 times MSAA is just insane at 1440p. Goodbye, Bob. I don't know which one of you is Bob, so let's just run both over. Okay. All right, now let's see it here in the bushes. Yeah, even if it drops, it's 69% lows. Very nice. Even if it drops into the lower 70s, maybe even higher 60s, it won't really drop from that. Oh god, what am I doing, dude? And it's so damn sharp that there is absolutely zero need to go with 8 times MSAA here at this resolution. Hello, Jack. Nice to see you again, buddy. Previously we saw Jacqueline, but now it is Jack in all its glory. Looking fantastic today, aren't you? Oh, don't fall. Jack, are you okay? Did he die? No. All right, he's fine. He's fine. Oh, clumsy boy. He's so buttery smooth. Obviously, the averages will vary depending on where you are in the map. If you spend all of your time in vegetation because you are an outdoorsy person, well, it's gonna get lower averages, around like 70 to 90. If you spend most of the time in a city area like this, it's gonna get 130, 140 on average. Now we're playing at 3840 by 2160 with 2 times MSAA, so this is 4K with the added anti-aliasing, which is very, very intensive, of course. And wow, it actually feels a heck of a less smoother, a heck of a less, a heck of a lot less smooth, yes, because we are playing at 60 Hz now instead of 120. I could actually select 120 in this game with this capture card. So yeah, it's not as smooth, but if you are running 120 Hz at 4K, this would certainly feel a heck of a lot smoother than 60 Hz. And I mean, it is still flawless, of course, well above 60 frames. I doubt it will handle grassy areas above 60 FPS though with 2 times MSAA, but I can tell you that he's so damn sharp that it might be worth it. It is really, really pin sharp at the moment, and I'm using a 42-inch monitor at 4K, so PPI isn't as dense as something like a 32-inch monitor or 27-inch monitor at 4K. It's actually the same PPI as 1440p at 27 inches. Anyways, it still has not dropped from 60 frames per second, and we are actually in a very intensive area as well. All right. As soon as I go off-road into the bushes, ooh, it even drops into the 40s. That's the MSAA at work, I guess. Because, you know, it needs to apply anti-aliasing to all of the vegetation, and that's obviously what's killing the FPS the most right now. Also, sorry for the tearing since we are very close to 60 frames per... Jeez, I didn't even accelerate there. How is this happening? All right, anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the tearing. Whenever it's very close to 60 FPS, it has tearing because of the refresh rate of the capture card. I can't really enable G-Sync, unfortunately, because the footage would become stuttery for some reason. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm sorry about that. But you know what? We should probably stop it with 2 times MSAA. If you are running a smaller monitor with higher pixel density, turning off MSAA will still make it look very, very sharp indeed. Michael, please do something. Oh, there's a friend right there. Wait a second. Can we approach the friend? There he is. Look at him. Just eating some grass. Also getting 60 FPSs around here. That's better than 50s and 40s, but I still expected a little bit higher when turning off MSAA. This is still extremely sharp, even though I can see more jaggies, a lot more jaggies than previously. It doesn't really bother me too much, so it's still a really nice image. You know, I thought it was going to look a little bit more shimmery, honestly, and jagged. What is happening here? What? Put that gun down? Are you serious? What? This guy is naked! Oh! Okay. No, the other guy is also naked! I just noticed! God damn it! I need to blur everything in editing. Please, Digim, wouldn't do that. Okay. Alright, we got a little friend here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go to the road. Thank you. Okay. Good stuff. Oh boy! I'm sorry, people. Alright. Trying to go to Jack's Hill again. We're almost there. Lady, we need to kill Bob if he's here. Okay, I'm sorry. He's not here. We're getting 70s and 80s. 60s now. Oh, there's Bob, by the way. What are you both doing here again? 63, 61. Look at that, it's getting really intensive, but it's not dropping from 60, so if you want those maxed out visuals in GTA 5, damn, that was beautiful. At 4K resolution, you can get that. 60 plus 100% of the time, with almost 100 on average, that's great. Oh boy, look at those frames. I hope inside of the game we get better frames. Well, this is 7680 by 4320 using the same settings still, of course. And nope, this is too much. 8K is too much for the little RTX 4070, at least at the maximum settings almost, guys. Yeah, it drops by a lot. It's kind of like a PS4 experience at this point. I've actually seen that the PS4 does drop from 30 FPS quite often, even from 20 FPS near vegetation areas like that one. So there's that. Also, ooh, what? How did I do that? That was beautiful. I want to check it out here. Ooh. Also, I'm very impressed that this young lady is not afraid of my driving skills in this game. I find it really weird. Hello, Jack. Oh, we're seeing Jack with a friend. This is awesome. This is the best day of my life. Stop it. Stop here. Jack, please stop. Please, I got you some dinner. Alright, guys. Well, 20 frames per second is just not gonna happen. But the thing is, the game is nearly maxed out without the AA, so we can drop some settings and probably make it playable here. Okay, we're back here. I restarted the game and adjusted the settings, and now these are the settings that we're using. So high to very high settings, I would say. Advanced graphics are all turned off this time around, and it is getting like 50s around that. Yeah, that's okay. It's not terrible, right? It's playable. But I mean, we're still not in Jack's Hill. It might drop a lot there. Let's find out, of course. Now, 8K is obviously unrealistic. Nobody out there, I think, is going to pair an RTX 4070 with an 8K monitor or TV. But, well, I guess you could. If you wanted to try it out, for example, connect your PC to your TV and you happen to have a 4070 with an 8K TV, well, you could play some GTA 5 on it and experience some insane pixels. For reference, 4K resolution is 8.3 million pixels. This is 33 million pixels. 8K is 33 million pixels, my friends. It is 4 times higher resolution than 4K. The vertical resolution is doubled. That means that the actual pixel density is quadrupled. Alright, so even though it is 4320p instead of 2160p at 4K, it is way more intensive and it is a much higher resolution. Now, what are the benefits of playing at 8K resolution in GTA 5? Well, You can see every single detail in those palm trees at the distance. And like pretty much everything is super sharp and detailed. There is no aliasing anywhere. Do you need it? Absolutely not. So do not go out and buy an 8K monitor, even for like an RTX 4090, because 4K is the sweet spot for that GPU in particular. Let's just see it over here, 30s, ooh, lower 30s at times. Of course, this is the worst place on earth, because Bob is here. Now, before we go up to 16K, I want to try it at 12K resolution. That is 1.5 times the 8K resolution. And the way it works is it actually multiplies the vertical resolution by 1.5, and that gives us the 12K resolution, which is in the middle of 8K, and 4 times that, the 16K, or 4 times pixel-wise, 2 times vertical resolution-wise. Let's go. 12K is still working. Obviously, I cannot tell a difference whatsoever. Maybe things are a little bit sharper. Maybe it's placebo at this point. I am using a 42-inch monitor, though. But yeah, this is way beyond the diminishing returns, guys, from increasing the resolution. It's just stupid at this point, and it's also stupid intensive. We went from like 50 FPS at 8K to 25 around that at 12K. Like at the distance, for example, above that building you can see every detail of that antenna looking thing, or whatever that is. I don't know, tower. Let's bump it up a notch again. Okay, this is gonna be the ultimate experience. It's 2 times the resolution. It's the maximum resolution that DirectX supports, and it's 16K res, okay? It's 16K. At this point, everything is exploding. We're getting 0 FPS. I'm not sure if I can actually apply the settings. It did apply. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, never mind. It's still at 1.5 times. So no 2 times the vertical resolution here. No 16K, but maybe with like the lowest settings possible, it will be playable at 16K, guys. All right, there we go. I will apply that, restart. Let's just go over everything again. So 4320p right here, normal settings or lowest settings, 12K resolution. Let's turn it up. Oh boy. Okay, now it was actually fast. I could apply it. We're playing at 16K. 16K is actually the maximum resolution of DirectX. DirectX 11, DirectX 12, it can't go above 16K. So I actually tried. There is an option here in GTA 5 to play at 2.5 times the vertical resolution on the frame scaling. And I tried it with the RTX 4090 back when I tested that in GTA 5. It didn't work at 20K resolution. That would be 20K basically. So yeah, that's again because DirectX literally cannot output more than 16K resolution, guys. Oh, it's starting to drop a lot. Get out! What are you doing? Yeah, you're flipping me the bird. Goodbye, sir. There we go. That's what you get. Oh boy! Alright, at this point the 4070 is dead. VRAM is also maxed out, but not by too much, because it's not using a ton of VRAM, ton of RAM, as it was before, you know? Anyways, that's been it for this one, my friends. Goodbye, Bob! There we go! Thanks very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be back very soon with another one on the 4070 probably. So stay tuned in for that. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.